Hi everyone, myself Sudhindra Chen, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Srinivas Institute of Technology, Olachil, Mangaluru. In this video, I come up with the solution for KCET 2020 Physics. In this, the first question goes in this fashion. In a permanent magnet at room temperature, options are a domain are all perfectly aligned. Magnetic moment of each molecule is zero. Option C, the individual molecules have non-zero magnetic moment which are all perfectly aligned. And option D, domains are partially aligned. And the right answer is option A, domains are all perfectly aligned, because due to thermal agitation with the increase in temperature, randomness of the molecules increases and magnetic field movements get partially aligned, hence the domains are partially aligned. Next, question number 2. A rod of length 2 meters slides with a speed of 5 meters per second on a rectangular conducting frame as shown in figure. There exists a uniform magnetic field of 0.04 T perpendicular to the plane of the figure. If the resistance of the rod is 3 ohm, then the current through the rod is options A 1.33 amps, option B 75 milliamps, option C 133 milliamps, and option D 0.75 amps. The right answer is option C, that is 133 milliamps, because we know that the current relation I is equal to BLV divided by R. By substituting all these values, we will get the value I is equal to, or current is equal to 133 milliamps. Next, question number 3. The ratio of magnetic field at the center of a current carrying circular coil to its magnetic moment is X. If the current and the radius both are doubled, then the new ratio will become. The options he has given: A, X by 8, B, 2X, C, 4X, and D, X by 4. And the right answer is option A, that is X by 8, because magnetic field and magnetic moment relation we know. Magnetic field is given by B is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi into 2 pi I divided by A. By simplifying that, we will get the relation mu naught I divided by 2A. And magnetic moment M is equal to I into pi A square. By taking the ratio of these to magnetic field to the magnetic moment, we will get the relation B by M is equal to mu naught divided by 2 pi A cube. By considering this as equal to X. And now doubling both current and radius, we will get the value as X by 8. Next, question number 4. In the given circuit, the peak voltages across a capacitor, inductor, and resistor are 30 volt, 110 volt, and 60 volt respectively. The RMS value of the applied voltage is the options A 141 volt, option B 100 volt, option C 200 volt, and option D 70.7 volt. And the right answer is option D, that is 70.7 volts. That is by using the relation output voltage V naught is equal to square root of VR square plus VL minus VC square. And simplifying this, we will get the output voltage V naught is equal to 100 volts. And we know the relation for VRMS, that is equal to V naught divided by root. By simplifying that, we will get the value VRMS, that is equal to 70.7 volts. Next, question number 5. The power factor of RL circuit is 1 by root 3. If the inductive reactance is 2 ohm, the value of resistance is, options he has given: A 1 by root 3 ohm, B 2 ohm, option C root 2 ohm, and option D 0.5 ohm. And the right answer is option C, that is root 2 ohm. This can be obtained with the help of impedance triangle reaction. Cos phi is equal to 1 by root 3, tan phi, all those things. By simplifying that, we will get the relation, value as root 3 ohm. This is the required answer for this question. And question number 6. In the given circuit, the resonant frequency, the options are A 15,910 Hz, option B 15.92 Hz, option C 159.2 Hz, and option D 1592 Hz. And the right answer is option D, that is 1592 Hz, because we know that resonant frequency of an circuit is given by F is equal to 1 by 2 pi square root of LC. By simplifying this equation, we will get the value of frequency as 1592 Hz. Hi. Yes, next the question is question number 7, that is the current in a coil of inductance 0.2 Henry changes from 5 amps to 2 amps in 0.5 seconds. The magnitude of the average induced EMF in the coil is option A 0.3 volt, option B 0.6 volt, option C 1.2 volt, and option D 30 volts. And the right answer is answer C, that is 1.2 volt. This we have calculated with the help of average induced EMF equation. Epsilon or E is equal to L into dl divided by dt, where dl is nothing but change in length and dt is nothing but change in time. By substituting that, we are getting the value E is equal to 1.2 volt. Next, question number 8. An object approaches a convergent lens from the left of the lens with a uniform speed of 5 meter per second and stops at the focus. The image conditions move towards the lens with a non-uniform acceleration, moves away from the lens with the uniform speed 5 meter per second, moves away from the lens with the uniform acceleration, moves away from the lens with a non-uniform acceleration. And the right answer is option D, that is moves away from the lens with a non-uniform acceleration, because we know velocity of image in convex lens Vi is equal to f divided by f plus u whole square into V naught, and image will move from focus to infinity, that is away from the lens. From the formula of velocity of image, so we can differentiate that equation dVi with respect to dt. We are getting the condition and conclusion. We can see that acceleration of image is directly proportional to ln of f plus u, that is varies with the distance of the object, means as it is directly proportional, means image moves away from the lens with a non-uniform acceleration. That is the right option. Next, question number 9. The refracting angle of a prism is A and the refractive index of the material of prism is cot of A by 2. The angle of minimum deviation is, the options are option A 180 degree minus 2A, option B 180 degree minus 3 amps, option C 180 degree plus 2 amps, or option D 90 degree minus amp. And the right answer is option A, that is 180 degree minus 2A. That is with the help of the equation n is equal to sine of A plus dm by 2, sine of A by 2, by considering cot relation, cot of A by 2 is nothing but sine of A plus dm divided by 2, sine of A divided by 2. By writing that cot in terms of sine and cos, we are getting cos divided by sine. So by simplifying, substituting, we will get the relation as dm is equal to 180 minus 2A. That is the right answer. Next, question number 10. A light beam of intensity 20 watt per centimeter square is incident normally on a perfectly reflecting surface of sides 25 centimeter into 15 centimeter. The momentum imparted to the surface by the light per second is, the options are option A 1.2 into 10 to the minus 5 kg meter per second, option B 2 into 10 to the minus 5 kg meter per second, option C 1 into 10 to the minus 5 kg meter per second, and option D 5 into 10 to the minus 5 kg meter per second. And the right option is option D, that is 5 into 10 to the minus 5 kg meter per second. That is with the help of the equation moment of the radiation, that is given by P is equal to 2E divided by C. But E we can get by the intensity equation, that is I is equal to E by A, therefore E is equal to I into A. By substituting that and substituting all the values, we will get moment of radiation P is equal to 5 into 10 to the minus 5 kg meter per second. Next, question number 11. 3 Polaroid sheets P1, P2 and P3 are kept parallel to each other such that the angle between pass axis of P1 and P2 is 45 degree and that between P2 and P3 is 45 degree. If unpolarized beam of light of intensity 128 watts per meter square is incident on P1, what is the intensity of light coming out of P3? The options are A 64 watt per meter square, option B 128 watt per meter square, option C 0, and option D, that is 16 watt per meter square. And the right answer is D, that is 16 watt per meter square. That is by the help of relation unpolarized beam intensity I naught is equal to 128 watt per meter square and Malus law, that is I is equal to I naught cos 2 theta, and by considering first Polaroid, that is I is equal to I naught by 2, and by considering the angle between P1 and P2, that is 45 degree, beam intensity when it will pass P2 would be I1, that is I naught divided by 2 cos square 45 degree, that is equal to I naught by 4, and considering angle between P2 and P3, that is 45 degree, beam intensity when it will come out of P3 will be I2, that is equal to I divided by 4 cos square 45 degree. So the value is I by 8, that is equal to 128 divided by 8. So the right option is 16 watt per meter square. Yes, next question is question number 12. That is, 2 poles are by a distance of 3.14 meter. The resolving power of human eye is a minute of an arc. the maximum distance from which he can identify the two poles distinctly is. Options he has given: option A 376 meter, option B 10.8 kilometer, option C 5.4 kilometer, and option D, that is 188 meter. And the right answer is option B, that is 10.8 kilometer. That is with the help of relation lateral separation of the poles, D has given, and resolving power of the I, theta, that is 1 minute. Convert that in terms of radians. Here 1 minute is nothing but 60 seconds, and then use pi by 180. You are getting that angle in terms of radians. Later use the relation maximum distance from which poles are distinctly visible. That is capital D is equal to D divided by theta. Substitute that, you are getting the value of D, that is 10.8 kilometer. Next question is question number 13. The following figure shows a beam of light converging at a point P when a concave lens of focal length 16 cm is introduced in the path of the beam at a place shown by dotted line, shown such that OP becomes the axis of lens. The beam converges at a distance x from the lens. The value of x will be equal to option A 48 cm, option B 12 cm, option C 24 cm, and option D, that is 36 cm. And the right answer is option A, that is 48 centimeter. That can be obtained with the help of relation lens formula, that is 1 by f, that is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u. By substituting the values of v and u, we will get the relation and the final value x is equal to 48 centimeter. And next question, question number 14. The de Broglie's wavelength associated with electron of hydrogen atom in this ground state is, first option is 10 Armstrong, second option is 0.3 Armstrong, and third option 3.3 Armstrong, and option D, that is 6.26 Armstrong. And the right answer is option C, that is 3.3 Armstrong. That can be obtained by using the de Broglie's wavelength equation, that is lambda is equal to 12.27 divided by square root of E naught, where E naught is nothing but ground state energy. For hydrogen we know that value, that is 13.6 volts. By substituting that, we are getting the value of lambda wavelength as 3.33 Armstrong. Next question is question number 15. The following graph represents the variation of photocurrent with the anode potential for a metal surface. Hence I1, I2 and I3 represent intensities, and Y1, Y2 and Y3 represent frequency for curves 1, 2 and 3 respectively. Then option A, Y2 is equal to Y3 and I1 is equal to I3. Option B, Y1 is equal to Y2 and I1 is not equal to I2. And option C, Y1 is equal to Y3 and I1 is equal to I3. And option D, Y1 is equal to Y2 and I1 is equal to I2. And the right answer is option B, that is Y1 is equal to Y2 and I1 is not equal to I2. Here in the graph we can see that the stopping potential is same for 1 and 2. So frequencies will be same, that is Y1 is equal to Y2, and currents are different. So the option B is the correct. Question number 16. In Young's double slit experiment, the distance between the slits and the screen is 1.2 meter and the distance between the two slits is 2.4 mm. If a thin transparent mica sheet of thickness 1 micrometer and a refractive index of 1.5 is introduced between one of the interfering beams, the shift in the position of central bright fringe is options A 0.25 mm, option B 2 mm, option C 0.5 mm, and option D 0.125 mm. And the right answer is option A, that is 0.25 mm. Here we use the path difference due to insertion of mica sheet delta x, that is equal to mu minus 1 into t, and fringe shift pattern is y, and by using the relation path difference delta x, that is equal to y into d divided by capital D, we are getting the value by substituting mu is equal to 1.5, d is equal to 2.4, and small d is equal to 1.2. So we are getting the value as y is equal to 0.25 mm. Next, question number 17. Angular momentum of an electron in a hydrogen atom is 3h divided by 2 phi, where h is nothing but Planck's constant. The kinetic energy of the electron is, the options he has given 6.8 electron volt, 4.35 electron volt, 1.51 electron volt, or 3.4 electron volt. And the right answer is option C, that is 1.51 electron volt. That is by using the equation energy E is equal to 13.6 divided by n square in n square. So here by using angular momentum, we have the equation L is equal to nh divided by 2 5, that is equal to 3h divided by 2 5. By considering the values what he has given in the problem, substitute, you are getting the value C option, that is 1.51 electron volt. Next question number is 18. A beam of fast moving alpha particles was directed towards a thin film of gold. The parts A, B and C of the transmitted and reflected beams corresponding to the incident parts A, B and C of the beam are shown in the adjoining diagram. The number of alpha particles in various options he has given. Option A, C dash will be minimum and B dash maximum. Option B, B dash will be minimum and C dash is maximum. Option C, A dash will be maximum and B dash is minimum. And option D, A dash will be minimum and B dash is maximum. And the right answer is option C, that is A dash will be maximum and in B dash is minimum. Because A dash will be maximum and B dash minimum, reason is atom is hollow and whole mass of atom of hydrogen is concentrated in a small center called nucleus. Next question, question number 19. The period of revolution of an electron revolving in nth orbit of H atom is proportional to options A, independent of n, option B, n square, option C, 1 by n, and option D, n cube. And the right answer is option D, that is n cube. Because we know that time period of revolution of electron is given by capital T is equal to 2 pi r divided by V. And also radius r is proportional to n square divided by z square and V proportional to z by n. Therefore, T proportional to n cube divided by z square, and we know the value for H atom, z is equal to T, z is equal to 1. By substituting that, we will get the relation time period T is directly proportional to n cube. And question number 20. During a beta decay, a proton in the nucleus decays emitting in an electron. Option B, an atomic electron is ejected. Option C, an electron which is already present within the nucleus is ejected. And option D, a neutron in the nucleus decays emitting an electron. And the right option is option D, that is a neutron in the nucleus decays emitting an electron. Next question is question number 21. A radioactive element has life of half-life of 15 years. What is the fraction that will decay in 30 years? Options he has given 0.85 or 0.25 or 0.5 or 0.75. And the right answer for this particular is option D, that is 0.75. Because we know the relation fraction undecayed, that is given by n by n naught, that is equal to half to the power small t divided by capital T, where small t is nothing but number of years and t is nothing but that half-life period. So by substituting those values, we will get the value n divided by n naught is equal to 1 by 4 and fraction undecayed is 1 minus n divided by n naught. By subtracting 1 minus the value what we have obtained, that is 1 by 4, we will get the value 0.75. That is the right answer. Next question, question number 22. Two protons are kept at a separation of 10 nanometer. Let Fn and Fe be the nuclear force and the electromagnetic force between them. The option A, Fe and Fn differ only slightly. Option B, Fe is equal to Fn. Option C, Fe is much more greater than Fn and Fe much more less than Fn. And the right answer is option C, that is Fe is much more greater than Fn. Because nuclear forces are short range force existing in the range of 10 to the minus 15 meter, that is in that order. If the separation between the particles is greater than 10 to the minus 15 meter, nuclear force is negligible. Therefore, at a separation of 10 nanometer, electromagnetic force is greater than the nuclear force. Hence, Fe is much more greater than Fn. Question number 23. In the following circuit, what are P and Q? The output he asked. Here it is a NAND gate. So the options they are P is equal to 1, Q is equal to 1. Second option P is equal to 1, Q is equal to 0. And third option P is equal to 0, Q is equal to 1. And D is equal to D. In that P is equal to 0 and Q is equal to 0. And the right answer for this logic circuit, C is option C. P output is 0 and Q output is 1. We know that a NAND gate gives an output 1 if at least one of the input is 0. hence q is equal to 1. Therefore, the input of the upper NAND gate are 1, 1, hence p is equal to 0. Next question, number 4, 24. A positive hole in a semiconductor is option A, an artificially created particle, B, an antiparticle of electron, option C, a vacancy created when an electron leaves a covalent bond, and option D, absence of free electron. And the answer is option C, a vacancy created when an electron leaves a covalent bond. Reason: a positive hole in a semiconductor is a vacancy which is created at the site of a covalent bond when an electron leaves a covalent bond. Next question, question number 25. A 220 volt AC supply is connected between points A and B as shown in figure. What will be the potential difference V across the capacitor? See options: A 200 into square root of 2 volts, option B 220 volts, option C 110 volts, and option D, that is 0. And the right answer is option A, that is 200 into square root of 2 volts. During the positive half cycle of input AC, a PN junction diode is forward biased and hence it conducts. While during the negative half cycle, the diode will be reverse biased and hence does not conduct. The capacitor is charged to maximum potential difference. Therefore, the potential difference across capacitor C is equal to the peak value of the applied AC voltage, that is V is equal to V max, or V is equal to square root of 2 into V RMS, or V is equal to square root of 2 into 220 volts. This is the required answer. Question number 26. Two long straight parallel wires are a distance 2d apart. They carry steady equal currents flowing out of the plane of the paper. The variation of magnetic field B along the x dash is given by 4 different options he has given, and the right answer option is option C, because with the help of magnetic field relation due to a long straight current carrying wire is given by B is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi r, or B, magnetic field B is directly proportional to inversely proportional to the radius. At the point exactly midway between the conductors, the net magnetic field is 0. Using right hand thumb rule, we find that the magnetic field due to left wire will be in a j direction, while due to the right wire is in minus j direction. Therefore, magnetic field at a distance x from the left wire lying between the wires. So for x is less than d, B is along j, and if for x greater than d, B is along j. So the option is C. Question number 27. At a metro station, a girl walks up a stationary escalator in 20 seconds. If she remains stationary on the escalator, then the escalator takes her up in 30 seconds. The time taken by her to walk up on the moving escalator will be 10 seconds, 25 seconds, 60 seconds, and 12 seconds. And the right answer is option D, that is 12 seconds. Let the length of the escalator be L, velocity of the girl Vg, that is L by T, velocity of the escalator, same equation we have to use, and time taken by girl and escalator, that we have to substitute, we will get the value. Then to get the moving escalator, we are supposed to consider net, that is girl velocity and escalator velocity. We have to add those. We are getting the relation capital L divided by T is equal to L by 12, that is nothing but T, that is equal to 12 seconds. Next question is 28. Rain is falling vertically with a speed of 12 meter per second. A woman rides a bicycle with a speed of 12 meter per second in east to west direction. What is the direction in which she should hold her umbrella? The options he has given: 45 degree towards west, 30 degree towards east, 45 degree towards east, and 30 degree towards west. The right answer is option A, that is 45 degree towards west. Because to protect herself from the rain, the woman must hold her umbrella in the direction of relative velocity of the rain with respect to the woman. That can be evaluated by using relation tan theta, that is equal to VW divided by VF, that is equal to 12 meters per second, that he has given, or tan theta is equal to 1, or theta is equal to 45. Therefore, the direction in which she should hold her umbrella is 40 degree towards west. Question number 29. A cylindrical wire has a mass 0.3 plus or minus 0.003 grams, radius 0.5 plus or minus 0.005 mm, and length 6 plus or minus 0.06 centimeter. The maximum percentage error in the measurement of its density is option A 4, B 1, C 2, and D 3. And the right answer is Option A, that is 4. That is by using the relation density. We know density is equal to mass by volume. By taking the differentiation with respect to respective element, like with respect to density, with respect to mass, and with respect to radius and length, all variables. So we are getting the relation del rho divided by rho into 100 is equal to 0.04, that is into 100, that is nothing but 4%. That is the right answer. Next, question number 30. A body is initially at rest. It undergoes one-dimensional motion with the constant acceleration. The power delivered to it at the time t is proportional to option A t square, option B t raised to half, option C t, and option D t raised to 3 by 2. And the right answer is option C, that is t, because we know that power is given by force into velocity, where force we can write in terms of ma, that is according to second law of Newton. So the relation we will get, power is directly proportional to time t. Question number 31. A thin uniform rectangular plate of mass 2 kg is placed in xy plane as shown in figure. The moment of inertia about x-axis is Ix, that is equal to 0.2 kg meter square, and the moment of inertia about y-axis is Iy, that is equal to 0.3 kg meter square. The radius of gyration of the plate about the x-axis passing through O and perpendicular to the plane of plate is option A 31.6 centimeter, option B 50 centimeter, option C 5 centimeter, and option D is 38.7 centimeter. And the right answer for the corresponding question is option B, that is 50 centimeter. That is by using the perpendicular axis theorem, that is Iz is equal to summation of the remaining two sides moment of inertia, that is Ix plus Iy. By substituting all those values what we have, that is 0.3 and 0.2, we are getting Iz is equal to 0.5 kg meter square, and also we know that moment of inertia can be written as mass into radius of gyration, m into k square. By substituting the value of I as well as mass, we are getting the value of k, that is equal to 50 centimeter. Question number 32. One end of a string of length I is connected to a particle of mass m and the other to a small peg on a smooth horizontal table. If the particle moves in a circle with the speed v, the net force on the particle is option A 0, option B t, option C t minus mv square divided by L, and option D t plus mv square divided by L. And the right answer is option B, that is t. Because when particle connected to a string revolves in a circular path around a center, the centripetal force is provided by the tension produced in the string. Hence, in the given case, the net force on the particle is tension T. T is equal to mv square divided by L. Question number 33. Young's modulus of a perfect rigid body is option A between 0 and unity, option B 0, option C unity, and option D infinity. And the right answer is option B, that is 0, because Young's modulus is directly relevant with the stress and strain. And for a perfect rigid body, we know that strain is equal to 0. Hence, once the strain is 0, automatically Young's modulus is going to become 0. Stress is also going to become 0. Question number 34. A wheel starting from rest gains an angular velocity of 10 radians per second after uniformly accelerated for 5 seconds. The total angle through which it has turned is option A 50 pi radians about a vertical axis, option B 25 radians, option C 100 radians, option D 25 into pi radians. And the right answer is option B, that is 25 rad, because we know that omega 1 and omega 2, that is 0 and 10 radians per second in this problem he has given, and time t is equal to 5 seconds. And we know the relation for linear and angular velocity, theta is equal to omega 1 plus omega 2 divided by 2 into t. By substituting those values, we will get the value option B, that is 25 radians. Next question, 35. Iceberg floats in water with the part of it submerged. What is the fraction of volume of iceberg submerged if the density of the ice rho I, that is equal to 0.917 grams per centimeter cube? Options are option A 0, option B 0.917, option C 1, and option D, that is 0.458. And the right answer is option B, that is 0.917. This can be evaluated with the help of the equation volume, that is total volume of the iceberg and volume of the iceberg which is submerged into water. These two we supposed to equate, that is weight of the iceberg and weight of the water displaced by submerged part by ice. So by substituting the values of volume, density and gravity, we are getting the relation, and we are getting the value, that is 0.917. Question number 36. The value of acceleration due to gravity at a height of 10 km from the surface of Earth is x. At what depth inside the Earth is the value of the acceleration due to gravity has the same value x? Options are option A 15 km, option B 5 km, option C 20 km, and option D, that is 10 km. And the right answer is option C, that is 20 km. That can be evaluated by using the equation g suffix h, that is equal to g into 1 minus 2h divided by r, and g suffix d, that is equal to g into 1 minus d divided by r. By equating these two, we will get g at gh is equal to g d. By equating these two, we will get the relation d is equal to 2h, or 2 into h is nothing but 10. So 2 into 10 is equal to 20 km. Question number 37. In an adiabatic expansion of an ideal gas, the product of pressure and volume. Options are A. At first increases and then decreases. Option B. Decreases. Option C. Increases. And option D. Remains constant. And the right answer is option B, that is decreases. Because in adiabatic expansion, temperature decreases by using the ideal gas equation, P is equal to MRT. Next question. Question number 38. A certain amount of heat energy is supplied to a monatomic ideal gas which expands at constant pressure. What fraction of the heat energy is converted into work? Options are option A 5 by 7, option B 1, option C 2 by 3, and option D, that is 2 by 5. And the right answer is option D, that is 2 by 5. That is by using the first law of thermodynamic relation, that is heat converted into internal energy and work, that is Q is equal to U plus W. By replacing Q, W, U and W in terms of MCP and NCV, so we are getting the relation Cp minus Cv divided by Cp, that is equal to 1 minus 1 divided by gamma, or by substituting the value of gamma, so we are getting the value as 2 by 5. Next question, question number 39. A sphere, a cube and a thin cylinder plate, all of same material and same mass, initially heated to same high temperature, are allowed to cool down under similar conditions. Then the option A, cube will cool the fastest and plate the slowest. Option B, plate will cool the fastest and cube the slowest. Option C, sphere will cool the fastest and cube the slowest. And option D, plate will cool the fastest and sphere the slowest. And the right answer is option D, that is plate will cool the fastest and sphere the slowest, because surface area or exposed area of the plate is more as comparing with the less for sphere. Hence the plate will cool the fastest and sphere the slowest. Next question, question number 40. A train whistling at constant frequency n in moving towards a station at a constant speed v, the train goes past a stationary observer on the station. The frequency n of the sound as heard by the observer is plotted as a function of time t. Identify the correct curve. Here 4 different curves he has given. So the right answer is curve A, because as the train approaches the observer, the apparent frequency is higher than the actual frequency. As the train moves away from the observer, the apparent frequency is lower than the actual frequency. Hence the correct option is option A. Now next question is 41. A tray of mass 12 kg is supported by 2 identical springs as shown in figure. When the tray is pressed down slightly and then released, it executes SHM with a time period of 1.5 seconds. The spring constant of each spring is, answers are option A infinity, option B 50 Newton per meter, and option C 0, and option D 105 Newton per meter. So the right answer is option D, that is 105 Newton per meter. That can be obtained with the help of a time period equation. T is equal to 2 pi into square root of m divided by k effective. That is spring constant we are getting soon after substituting the value as 105 Newton per meter. Next question 42. The electric field lines on the left have twice the separation on those on the right as shown in figure. If the magnitude of the field at A is 40 volts per meter, what is the force on 20 microcoulomb charge kept at B? The options are option A 1 into 10 to the minus 4 volts per meter, option B 4 into 10 raised to minus 4 volts per meter, and option C 8 into 10 raised to minus 4 volts per meter, and option D, that is 16 into 10 raised to minus 4 volts per meter. And the right answer is option B, that is 4 into 10 raised to minus 4 volts per meter. So this can be obtained with the help of equation F, force F is equal to Q into E. By substituting the value, we will get the value force F is equal to 4 into 10 raised to minus 4 volts per meter. Next, the question number 43. An infinitesimally long thin straight wire has uniform charge density of 1 by 4 into 10 raised to minus 2 centimeter per centimeter. What is the magnitude of electric field at a distance 20 centimeter from the axis of the wire? The options he has given: 9 into 10 raised to 8 Newton per coulomb, 1.12 into 10 raised to 8 Newton per coulomb, 4.5 into 10 raised to 8 Newton per coulomb, and 2.25 into 10 raised to 8 Newton per coulomb. And the right answer is option D, that is 2.25 into 10 raised to 8 Newton per coulomb. That can be obtained by the equation energy E is equal to lambda divided by 2 pi epsilon naught into R. By substituting all the values, we will get the value of E is equal to 2.25 into 10 raised to 8 Newton per coulomb. Next question, question number 44. A point charge Q is placed at the corner of a cube side A as shown in the figure. What is the electric flux through the face ABCD? The options he has given: option A, charge Q divided by 72 epsilon naught, option B 0, option C Q divided by 24 into epsilon naught, and option D, that is charge Q divided by 6 times the epsilon naught. And the right answer is option B, that is 0, because flux passing through face ABCD is parallel to that surface and area vector is perpendicular. Hence, flux passing through ABCD is 0. Next, question number 45. The difference between equivalent capacitances of two identical capacitors connected in parallel to that in a series is 6 microfarad. The value of capacitance of each capacitor is 4 microfarad, 2 microfarad, 3 microfarad, or 4 microfarad. And the right answer is option D, that is 4 microfarad. That can be obtained with the help of the equation Cp minus Cs is equal to 6 microfarad. So by substituting the value Cp is equal to 2C and Cs is equal to C by 2, we are getting the value C is equal to 4 microfarad capacitance value. Next, the question number 46. The question is, figure shows 3 points A, B, C and A, B and C in a region of uniform electric field E. The line AB is perpendicular and BC is parallel to the field lines. Then which of the following holds good? VA, VB and VC represents the electric potential at points A, B and C respectively. The various options he has given: VA is greater than VB is equal to VC, VA is equal to VB is equal to VC, VA is equal to VB but is greater than VC. Next, VA is equal to VB but less than VC. Out of these three options, the four options, the right answer is VA is equal to VB and which is greater than VC, because electric lines of force in an electric field always flow from a higher potential to a lower potential. Hence, the option C is correct. Next, question number 47. A dipole of dipole moment P and moment of inertia I is placed on a uniform electric field E. If it is displaced slightly from its stable equilibrium position, the period of oscillation of dipole is pi divided by square root of L by PE or square root of PE by L, or third option is 2 pi into square root of I by PE, or 1 by 2 pi into square root of PE by I. And the right option is option C, that is 2 pi into square root of I by PE. So that is from the equation T, that is equal to 2 pi square root of I by PE. It is a standard equation. Question number 48. A hot filament liberates on an electron with zero initial velocity. The anode potential is 1200 volts. The speed of electron when it strikes the anode is option A, 2.5 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, 1.5 into 10 raised to 5 meter per second, 2.5 into 10 raised to 6 meters per second, and 2.1 into 10 raised to 7 meters per second. And the right answer is Option D, that is 2.1 into 10 to 7 meter per second. So here we use the equation of kinetic energy, half mv square, that is equal to velocity into charge q. So by simplifying that, we will get the value v is equal to 2.1 into 10 to 7 meter per second. Question number 49. A metal rod of length 10 centimeter and a rectangular cross section of 1 centimeter into half centimeter is connected to a battery across opposite faces. The resistance will be: option A, same irrespective of the three faces; option B, maximum when the battery is connected across 1 centimeter into half centimeter faces; option C, maximum when the battery is connected across 10 centimeter into half centimeter faces; and option D, maximum when the battery is connected across 10 centimeter into 1 centimeter faces. And the right option is option B, that is maximum when the battery is connected across 1 centimeter into 1 by 2 centimeter faces. Because the resistance is inversely proportional to area, hence resistance will be maximum when the battery is connected across 1 centimeter into half centimeter faces. Question number 50. A car has a fresh storage battery of EMF 12 volt and internal resistance 2 into 10 to the minus 2 ohm. If the starter motor draws a current of 80 amps, then the terminal voltage when the starter is on is: option A 9.3 volt, option B 12 volt, option C 8.4 volt, and option D 10.4 volt. And the right answer is option D, that is 10.4 volt. This can be obtained with the help of equation voltage V is equal to E minus IR. By substituting the value, we will get volt is 10.4. Question number 51. When a soap bubble is charged, options: its radius may increase or decrease, its radius increases, its radius decreases, the radius remains the same. And the right option is option B, that is its radius increases, because when the radius of soap bubble increases, the soap bubble gets charged. Next, question number 52. The color code for a carbon resistor of resistance 0.25 kilo ohm plus or minus 10% is red, green, silver, red, gray, brown, silver, red, green, brown, silver, red, gray, silver, silver. We know the color coding. Based on that, the option B, that is correct. That is red, gray, brown, silver. And question number 53. Each resistance in the given cubical network has resistance of 1 ohm and equivalent resistance between A and B is: option A 12 divided by 5 ohms, option B 5 by 6 ohm, option C 6 by 5 ohm, and option D 5 by 12 ohm. And the right answer is option B, that is 5 by 6 ohm. Next, question number 54. A potentiometer has a uniform wire of length 5 meter, a battery of EMF 10 volt, and a negligible internal resistance is connected between its ends. A secondary cell connected to the circuit gives balancing length at 200 centimeter. The EMF of the secondary cell is: option A 8 volt, option B 4 volt, option C 6 volt, and option D 2 volt. And the right answer is option B, that is 4 volt. This can be obtained with the help of equation EMF of cell in the secondary circuit is equal to potential gradient into balancing length. By substituting those values, we will get the value as 4 volt. Next, question number 55. In the given figure, the magnetic field at O is given with the 4 different options. Option A 3 by 8 mu naught I divided by R minus mu naught I divided by 4 pi R. Option B 3 by 4 mu naught into I divided by R plus mu naught I divided by 4 pi R. And option C 3 by 10 mu naught I divided by R minus mu naught I divided by 4 pi R. And option D 3 by 8 mu naught I divided by R plus mu naught I divided by 4 pi R. And in this, the right answer is option D, that is 3 by 8 mu naught I divided by R plus mu naught I divided by 4 pi R. This is by using the equation net B, that is B1 plus B2 plus B3, and B3 is 0 and remaining value we are getting as per the option D. Next question 56. The magnetic field at the origin due to a current element IDL placed at a point with vector position R is: mu naught I divided by 4 pi minus R vector R into dl divided by R square, and 4 different options he has given. And in that, the right answer is option B, that is mu naught I divided by 4 pi minus dl into R divided by R cube. These are the standard equations. Okay, next question number 57. IV, current voltage characteristics of a copper wire of length L and area of cross section A is shown in figure. The slope of the curve becomes, first option, less if the length of the wire is increased. B, more if experiment is performed at higher temperature. Option C, more if a wire of steel of same dimension is used. And option D, less if the area of the wire is increased. And the right answer is option A, that is less if the length of the wire is increased. That can be obtained with the help of the equation slope, that is 1 by R. By substituting the value, we will get that slope as the length of the wire is increased. Question number 58. A cyclotron is used to accelerate protons, that is 1 by 1 H deuterons, 2 by 1 H, and alpha particles, 2 by H helium. While exciting under similar conditions, the maximum kinetic energy is gained by option A, same for all, option B, alpha particle, option C, proton, and option D, deuteron. And the right answer is option D, that is deuteron. That can be obtained with the help of the equation kinetic energy is equal to Q square divided by M. And deuteron gain the least kinetic energy. Next question number 59. A paramagnetic sample shows a net magnetization of 8 amps per meter when placed in an internal magnetic field of 0.6 Tesla at a temperature of 4 Kelvin. When the same sample is placed in an external magnetic field of 0.2 T at a temperature of 16 Kelvin, the magnetization will be option A, 2.4 amps per meter, option B, 32 divided by 3 amps per meter, option C, 2 by 3 amps per meter, and option D, 6 amps per meter. And the right answer is option C, that is 2 by 3 amps per meter. This can be obtained with the help of the equation current I is proportional to B by T, and by taking the ratio I2 by I1, by simplifying, we are getting the value I2 is equal to current 2 divided by 3 amps per meter. And last question of this particular paper is 60. A long cylindrical wire of radius R carries a uniform current I flowing through it. The variation of magnetic field with the distance R from the axis of the wire is shown by 4 different options he has given. And the right option is option A, because the magnetic field increases as the point moves closer to the boundary of the wire and decreases as it moves away from the boundary of the wire. Hence, the correct option is A. So with this, I came to the end of this particular video. Hope you people are happy, and in the next video, I'm going to solve the question paper Chemistry KCET 2020. My details are as below. Sudhindra H. my name, Assistant Professor working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Srinivas Institute of Technology, Volachil, Mangaluru. And this is my email ID. And my contact number is 9035206005. 9035206005. Please subscribe to this particular channel so you will get the latest update, and also please share this video to your PU friends, hence they will get the chance to learn more. Happy learning. Thank you all.